So I had to drop somebody off from work on this fine rainy day, and I find myself on the Jefferson Highway. So I'll take advantage of this situation and starting up here in Trimble, and we're heading south into Smithville. I pulled up my map here. So I follow along on the Jefferson Highway coming out of Trimble. I mean, you could almost imagine this town in the 1920s. I don't think much has changed here. It's really started coming down. Ugh. Alright, south side of Trimble, and we're heading southbound on the Jefferson Highway into Smithville. Try and pay attention to the road here. That beeping is just me weaving all over the place because I'm so busy looking at the map that pay attention to the road. Now, this map here is one that I've drawn from old maps and what poor research I could do. So I don't know how accurate or inaccurate it is. I think generally my mapping of the highway is pretty good in Clay County and Jackson County, and even into what's the county to the south? Not Ray, but I'll think of it. But I wouldn't vouch for my abilities. I really wish that the state would get on board like the state of Iowa has and make this into a scenic byway and, you know, put some signs up so people can follow it, because it's a nice trek through the state of Missouri especially, and, you know, I mean, if Iowa can do it, why can't Missouri, you know? It's an appeal to MoDOT to do it. This is a major intersection here, apparently, where they don't have to stop, and so I have to crawl across there very carefully, make sure I look, because and I tell you, people go fast. Smithville Lake is real close by here, and I was telling the person I was giving the ride to that hopefully maybe one of our first campouts of the year will be Smithville Lake. We'll probably do Lawrence, but we need to test out our camper before we take it on any long trip, because we haven't used it since we had it repaired. There was some major work done on it. I don't completely trust it. I could just see us getting in the middle of our vacation and having a major breakdown, and You know, motorhomes are not the most reliable things. There's a lot that goes wrong with them. Some people talk about living in them and stuff like that, but they are not meant for that. Just, you know, temporary shelter as you get to different places. You try and live in a motorhome, things just start falling apart very quickly. Alright, heads south on F, and then it takes a bend to the west, which will be right this way. And then it takes a bend to the south. Lots of tract homes out here, and it's being pointed out to me that the price of real estate out here is pretty high. I guess a very desirable place to live. Because, you know, you're out in the country, but you're close enough to the city they can commute every day. I wouldn't want to. I like to be closer in. This rain is making me desire to have something warm to drink, especially since it's now my nighttime and I have to get up and take Saya to her choir practice tonight. But when I realized where I was like, I can't refuse. I have to visit this place and do it. Alright, we're heading due south. It's really, this is no longer drizzle. This is pretty serious rain coming down. Up ahead is basically you have to make a turn. Because the highway goes no further that way. This is Smithville Lake area. And then the road bends. I've noticed it's like my dot is not on the line, and then I realized why. It's because I drew the line off of the road. I spent a lot of time doing this stuff back in, what was that, 2016? Now I just don't have the time. Alright, we're finally bending south. Coming into the northern part of Smithville. Wow, look at that big mansion over there. It's very, I don't know how to describe it. Romanesque. I'm thinking I'm gonna get some coffee up here once we get into town. lost my dot. Oh, because I went off the map. How'd I allow that to happen? Alright, it kind of bends around and sort of zigzags in through town here. Bends once to the right here. This right. And then it turns to the south. And we will be coming right into downtown Smithville. Straight ahead is a replacement for the Jefferson Highway, which is what? US 69? 169? I always get those confused. 169. There's an old house right there. Bed and breakfast. And here we are, downtown Smithville. Lots of neat little boutiques and antique stores here. And there used to be... Can you make it? Hey, couldn't turn that corner. There used to be a restaurant up here that had the Jefferson Highway stickers in the door. I don't know if it still does. They've kind of worn off, I think. Oh, there's a Jefferson Highway sign right there. Look at that. Alright, here's my coffee shop. Let's give her a try. We'll stay on the highway here. And park garage. Yeah. This is a neat little town. Wait. I'm going to get my coffee and then meander on home via the Jefferson Highway. So, woohoo! It is raining and yucking here in downtown Smithville. And it we're going to Cornerstone. There's the Jefferson Highway coming from the north. Then it turns right and then it heads south. It goes past this downtown block. There's a nice little park over there with the gazebo lifted up. Let's see if we can make it into this place without getting run over. Flood of 1965. That's pretty high over there. I realize I'm wearing my new company shirt, so I'm going to be like drawing attention to myself. Alright, let's go to this place. Boy, this place has changed a lot since we were here last, when it was an antique boutique shop. So we have our caffeinated reinforcement. And I've put a better mic on, so the sound quality should be improved a little bit. Actually, it should be a little louder and a little less tinny. I say, probably picking up a lot of my jacket. And let's continue on the Jefferson Highway. Oops, I forgot my map. Can't go nowhere without no map. Heading east, and I'm going to turn right on Commercial and head south. And this will take us out of town, out of the old part. Now, I'm not going to follow along on the 169 portion of the highway. is pretty standard interstate looking road. Actually, it's pretty well built to near interstate standards, although the speed limit is like 60 miles an hour. Not quite 65 or 70 of an interstate, but it could probably increase between Smithville and our house to 65 and not be any less safe than it is now. And we'll just follow this into, well, like I say, I'll end it south of town, pick it back up as we head into Nashua, and then take North Oak down to where we turn off to head home. I'm not following it all the way through Clay County or Jackson County. Like I say, it's my bedtime. It's nighttime for me. I am a night worker. I work midnight to 8 a.m. And so this really is my bedtime. Hence the need for coffee. That was a nice little shop. It's called Cornerstone Coffee. And it was very pleasant, nice experience. People were quietly chatting with each other, and there's some music in the background. It sounded almost like old-time folk music. With a name like Cornerstone, I wonder if it has a religious theme, but it didn't strike me as being too heavy-handed with that, if it does, and I admire that. I believe that coffee houses are a place where people gather, and they're best when you leave it open to people of all walks of life, and it's about a warm cup and warm fellowship. And if there is a religious aspect to the place, it didn't seem like it killed a vibe in that place of everybody's welcome. And I appreciate that. Trying to be very diplomatic in the way I say that, because I don't want to sound anti-anything, like anti-Christian or anything. I'm just saying that this is my personal feeling that when people are on a mission to do something, it scares a lot of people off, and that's not great for a coffee house. But I'm not saying I saw no indication of that in there. See, you have to walk a very much a tightrope when you talk about such things. Religion and politics should never be discussed, especially when you're just basically talking about something like the Jefferson Highway. But it comes up. Shut up and drink your coffee. Mocha, very chocolatey. Another town that loves its traffic lights, but this is a main north-south road, so again, this is what the Jefferson Highway has become, its final state, which is essentially almost a major highway built to interstate standards. And as I say, I will since it is kind of a 4-lane divided highway, they're not very interesting as far as I'm concerned.
This is the only indicated way that I know of to head south. I don't know if there was a road. I think this is built on top of the old highway, and but yeah, I'll just end it here and then pick it up when we get to Nashua. According to my maps, the old highway jogged to the east and then headed south into Nashua. So we're not actually on the Jefferson Highway right at this moment. And the highway has been orphaned or cut off by the Interstate 435. So you really can't, I mean, you can, I guess you might be able to, I don't think you can. I think it's now private property and fenced off. But you could get on that road and take it as far as it goes, turn around. But like I say, I think it's been fenced off. It's kind of hard to get to because, like I say, 169 is built to interstate standards. This here is Berry Road, and actually, no, this is not Berry Road. What am I saying? This is LP Cookingham Road. Duh. LP Cookingham was a city manager who decided that the city was losing tax revenue because all the residents were moving out of the city, leaving behind only renters, poor renters, and people who didn't have much money and couldn't contribute very well to the tax base. So they annexed all the land in the north of the river, and added it to the city, which the north was a lot of country, but a lot of suburbs sprouting up here, and it pretty much gave the city a tax base to be a viable city and not a dying city. And we're coming into Nashua, and over on the right or on the left is a old radio station, a very Art Deco thing, and it's pretty cool looking. I love looking at that thing. It's been passing by here for a long time. It's got these multiple antennas. I forget what they call this type of radio, like a transmitter building. And here's downtown Nashua, and you can see the old buildings still here. And you can pretty much imagine yourself in the 1920s passing through that. Now, a lot of these towns exist because of a railroad that started in, I'm going to probably say the wrong name, Avondale, Missouri, which is just on the north side of the Missouri River. And it ran, I know one branch ran to Excelsior Springs, and that's the way a lot of people would get to the health spas that were up there, and another branch would run up to St. Joseph. And I used to know the name, but I think it was like the Quincy something. It had a name that really showed some aspirations of a coast-to-coast railroad, but really it was like a doodlebug line. And doodlebugs were like these gas-powered cars, almost like trolleys. And it's amazing to think that you could get around so much easier without a car in a lot of cities before the 1920s and 30s, when automobiles took over. It was automobiles that killed a lot of these little branch lines, and they were pretty marginal to begin with. And now we are on the Jefferson Highway proper. The map that I'm seeing shows it kind of like curving and sort of bypassing Nashua, so I don't know about that. I think it went right through the heart of Nashua, and I'm not sure because somebody else had added to this map, and I may have taken what they had done and put it on my template, and then I noticed that some curves and some right angle turns were smoothed out and things were just kind of bypassed, and so I don't know what is accurate and what is not. It takes an expert to know that. I am certainly not an expert, but I just referred to the old guide and tried to trace it out as best I could for the most part. And there are lots of materials out there, and I'm sure the association has a hold of a lot of things. Although somebody was telling me that the association tried to carry on after the numbered highways came into being under federal law, which made a lot of named highways redundant. You know, like people would still refer to a lot of highways by their name, like Lincoln Highway or something, even though they had numbered designations. And the association, which was based in St. Joseph, Missouri, lasted until the beginning of the Depression. And then when they closed up shop, supposedly they took all the plans and drawings and engineering work and everything and threw it all in the dumpster when they folded, and a lot of history was thrown in that dumpster. Don't know if that story is true or not, but it's something that I've heard, and I believe it was an association member who said it. Either I read it or said it. Man, I tell you, Alzheimer's. This old-timer's disease I've got. I can't remember anything. And, like when I was really actively thinking about a lot of this stuff, that was like going on 7 years ago now. I don't know. So, but here's where the highway has become North Oak Traffic Way, is today's name. And it goes right into Kansas City pretty much. There's some zigzagging. There's some multiple alignments, I believe, like in what at the time was referred to as Linden. But the town of Linden became Gladstone. And Linden was never an incorporated town. Gladstone was incorporated about, 1950 or 51? And it was named after the Gladstone phone exchange in the area. But somebody also theorized that it was named also after an English explorer for whatever reason. But when the railroad came through and caused a lot of these towns to exist, it was called Linden, and the railroad was bypassed, was made redundant by automobiles, and then the need for a good highway. So we had the Jefferson Highway. Before the Jefferson Highway, there was the, what do you call it? Man, I'm really hitting these lights. They're really determined. The old Pike Road, which was it was a pike road. It was a toll road, and they would charge the farmers a toll to get on this road to take their produce down to the farmers market in Kansas City. And when it got to the Missouri River, there's a little town called Harlem, and there was a ferry across the river. This was before the bridge was built. Then when the bridge was built, of course, it bypassed the need for the old Pike Road. And the old Pike Road was replaced by Jefferson Highway, which was replaced eventually by 169. And the old Pike Road was referred to as the fruit and veggie route because of the farmers using it to bring their wares. Up ahead, we are going to cross over, finally, as mistakenly calling Cookingham Berry, Well, we're going to cross Berry Road, and Berry Road is an east-west road, and it was originally called Berry Liberty Road, because they would name a lot of roads after their endpoints. The places, like there's a Kansas City Road, which actually was Kansas City Fort Scott Road. And this one is the Berry Liberty Road, ran between the town of Berry and the town of Liberty. And Berry at one time was the westernmost town in the United States, back about 1820s or so, and I'm not even sure if Berry even really existed then. But there's a close to the Costco over here, there's a sign that talks about this is the westernmost road in the United States, and blah de blah, way back in long forgotten, way back forgotten, or what the kids, our kids would call it whenever I'm being boorish about history. 19 forgotten. Yeah, that's, oh, who cares about what happened in 19 forgotten? Well, I don't know. Some people do. And this is Berry Road, which is east-west. This is a very busy road with a lot of shops and everything on it. Uh-oh, there's a ambulance. Let's hope people heed. Don't try and cross in front. Somebody's dying to get somewhere. And we don't want more people to be dying to get somewhere, especially on something that's not important. Oh, here's another one of these Kansas City lights. You know, that song is actually about Kansas City traffic lights, and it's not an homage to the city. It's a complaint about how proud we are of our traffic lights. We're stopping everyone, regulating traffic. Not really. It's a song about the bright lights of Kansas City. Which, when that song was written, must have been written by somebody from deep down in the Ozarks, where there's like, back in the day when there was one person per square mile, or what is it? I was watching that scene of the original pilot to the Beverly Hillbillies, and when Jed was contemplating leaving his cabin in the middle of nowhere, and his cousin was saying, you know, your nearest neighbor is 8 miles away from you. And Jed concluded, yeah, why would I want to leave all this behind? Oh, that is a one crazy show. It was really, really funny. But then I guess nowadays people are hypersensitive about things. There's not funny. Sorry about the noise I'm making with my mic. That's not funny. You're making fun of hill folk. Oh, come on. As if you can't go into Branson and see all sorts of people poking fun of hill folk, the corncob hillbilly hats they sell down there, and the hillbilly this, hillbilly that, everywhere you turn. I have a lot of respect, and especially since Route 66 passes right through that area. A lot of nice people down there. Since I've been traveling these old roads, I've gotten to know some of these people, and it's the theme to our videos. Travel America's back roads is where you'll find us. Kind of triple entendre there. Us, like in the U.S. highways, and also us, as in United States. Like you'll find us, and us, including Me and my wife and our kids and our dogs and our RV. Well, anyway, this becomes city. It's sort of interesting when you get down south of here. I've got another video that I've explored it before. And I think I've taken all of the alignments. You know, in many places there are multiple alignments. But I'm going to end it here. Where this water tower is, that's the old town of Linden. There's a square. And it wasn't a very big town. And the kids' school is Linden West, named after the old town of Linden. I guess it would be a village or now it was an unincorporated town. And they have a plaque over here that talks about the history of Linden. And yeah, so it was an unexpected exploration today. And now it is time that I head home and get my Z's